Welcome, everybody. My name is Liz Emis. I am a certified candidate for deacon in the United Methodist Church. Welcome to my Christmas living room, our Christmas living room. Given that this is a Lenten video, I'm actually kind of psyched that it's very holiday, Advent, Christmas themed. I'm here with an amazing person, Stacy Fletcher. Stacy, go ahead and say all of the acronyms and letters after your name.
So primarily in this space, I would be an IBCLC, but also a myofunctional therapist. So those things are a board certified lactation consultant. So someone who is skilled to treat and identify problems in infants with feeding. I also look at like oral function and tongue ties and things like that. I have a dental hygiene background, so I kind of look at things a little off the wall or out of the box most of the time. Sometimes a little obscurely, but so that's how we kind of connected and got to know each other a little bit.
So speaking of obscure or out of the ordinary, which I think you and I would agree is not actually that out of the ordinary. That's what this video is all about. We're talking about foolish love for Lent. And when you talk about out of the ordinary, you're talking about rule breaking and boundary busting. So for this video, there are two scriptures that we kind of developed this around. One is the, and I use air quotes here, unclean, it's hard for me to say, woman in Luke 13. And the other one is in Mark 7, the story of the Syrophoenician woman. Both serve as excellent boundary buster stories. We're going to focus mostly on the Syrophoenician woman. Her story, but not necessarily her as the main character. So the Syrophoenician woman has been presented oftentimes as, yes, a woman who breaks boundaries and being from a group of people that would be considered strange or outsider, right? Coming to someone who, while Hebrew, is also considered a bit of an outsider, a bit on the fringe, and requesting aid. That's been a pretty standard, I guess, reading. I think you and I would take a slightly different take on that.
Yeah.
Yes, that woman took risks and broke rules talking to someone she's not supposed to be talking to. However, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. Let me know.
Yeah. So kind of like how we've talked before is like, you mentioned this being a story about the child, right? And how us as parents, as mothers, as women are in charge of this new life, of this new being that if it's our first baby, we really have no clue what to do. We're completely at a loss. And, we've been maybe told all these millions of things or read all these books or, been seeing all these providers or practitioners, and we have so many different pieces of information, but the piece that we're often missing is listening to the baby. If we look at an infant as a purely, essentially divinely created creature, then, they have things to say if we just know how to listen.
Yep.
And when, as a mother, you do try to do that against everything you're being told,
right,
it can come across as very inappropriate or pushing of boundaries that people don't understand.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I love that he's pushing boundaries that people don't understand. So the reason that you are a credit to your profession and you are a credit to solidarity. And the reason for that, please don't cry because I'll cry too. The reason for that, Stacy knows, she's helped so many families. She's helped ours. 8.5 years ago when our son Will was born, we thought we knew what to do. He was our second kid.
Right? Not brand new.
And we thought...
had some practice.
Yeah, no big deal. So what if he was born in the car?
Right?
Really fine. Like, we got this. We had our oldest son Jackson's tongue clipped and thought that fixed everything. And when I say clipped, there is a piece of musculature and a piece of sometimes tissue underneath your tongue that connects it to your palate. Makes it very easy or not to suckle when you're nursing. We clipped that underneath Jackson's tongue. It worked fine, thought that fine was great. Then we had Will. $1,500 in bottle nipples later. Nothing was working. So that kid, to feed him so that maybe he'd keep it down, he had to be laid flat. We had a Medela bottle. We would unscrew the bottle to the point of if he were not swaddled and tried to touch it, the nipple would fall off and everything would fall on his face. So it was a constant stream of milk. We could not put the bottle in his mouth because it would trigger a gag reflex and everything would come out. So he was swallowing milk dripping into his mouth.
Just passive dripping.
Without closing.
Yeah.
So much air. We were told colic. We were told he needs PT. We were told, you clipped his tongue, it's fine.
Can't be anything else.
Right. And he looks great.
Yeah.
So what are you so worried about?
Yeah.
You verified that everything I was feeling was not craze. It was intention.
Yeah.
And it was spiritually driven intuition, and made it okay to be vulnerable enough to tell you without fear of condemnation.
Yeah.
And then you affirmed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I also know that I'm nowhere near the only person that deals with this.
Oh, absolutely not. And I do that because I didn't have that person, you know? I found them later, and I found so many amazing people that helped me find that ability. But when my little guy was little, we had a very similar story, completely different symptoms, different outcome, but that same disconnect and questioning
And desperation.
of what, a desperation. That's a great word, because like you have no, you stop trusting yourself. You stop listening and not knowing which words to listen to or which people to listen to. And this baby who the only purpose you're supposed to have is to feed them and love them and connect with them, you lose that opportunity in that moment where it's so important, because all you're trying to do is survive.
I don't like to say traditional medicine routes because this isn't alternative medicine.
Sure.
But normative medicine routes don't serve you. You think it must be in your head.
Right. That there's something wrong with you, and
Right.
that's why this is all happening, or there's not really anything wrong, you're just making it up or something.
Which is why when you served as that divine figure for us, the first bottle Will took after a 2-minute procedure.
Right. Something
2-minute frenectomy.
so simple in
Nothing.
reality.
I couldn't feed him. I was way too anxious. I remember I sat in our old house against the dishwasher and just rocked back and forth, sobbing, and had John feed him. And John came out after 4 minutes, when bottles usually took 70 minutes, and you have to do 8 a day. And he came out, and I thought, oh no. And I remember I got up and was like, where is he? How sick
What
is
happened?
he? Do I need to clean the carpet? I already have a change of clothes ready, all of that. And he just brought the bottle out from behind his back and said, finished it. And there's nothing. There's
amazing.
nothing to clean up.
It's amazing.
And I don't think that I would have been inspired to break all these rules and search high and low without my kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kid broke my rules.
Yeah.
And I think you see that all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And that's to me what looking foolish in love is.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Being able to let all of the preconceived notions, the social norms, what we're supposed to look like as mothers, and all the posterity that might come with that, all the things we think we need, and the image that comes with it, right? And being able to just put all of that aside and just listen to what they're trying to tell us that we need to do differently.